that I will never see any of you. I say, I'm alone finally, and I can do something. Until then, I saw the handsome Colin and Adrian sitting right next to me in the same restaurant, the daughter and son of Tracy Kidsman, saying, Father Miguel? I was honoring Father George, so imagine how they found me. Thank God I was not with a girl or something like that. Many of us, whose basic nutritional needs are covered, tend to hold certain attitudes regarding the food we consume in our daily lives. One very modern attitude, a funny one actually, is the ones that count every single calorie in what they get. In fact, the vast majority of people are very mindful of what they eat, some out of the concern of their physical bodies, others because of chemicals and production processes, and of course, the price for others. There are just so many factors to be considered before choosing what we eat, that we almost completely forget that there are those who have nothing to eat at all, because we are so focused on ourselves, and it is very easy to forget the rest. Then there are the do-gooders, the moochers, John told me. Opportunists who exploit the hunger of others to gain political standing, create an image, evade taxes, or manipulate emotions for the sake of social media posts. To them, a person with cerebral palsy is merely an object to photograph and put on display, fodder for social media to generate more wealth in their internal resources. Sadly, there is other groups, but this probably is the one that hurt the most. There are also those who not hunger for anything anymore, who not hunger neither for God, not for justice, not for love, not for truth. These are undoubtedly the worst, since to be nourished by God, one must hunger for Him. Hunger for the food that never ends. Hunger for the food meant to be for everyone, and not only for the ones who suffer and sorrow on this earth. In today's Gospel, St. Matthew presents us with the historical Jesus of food. The Jesus who dwells amidst God's abundance and shares that abundance with all of us. We Christians must strive to understand that hunger in the world cannot be ended merely through welfare or charity. Because the only thing that truly satisfies hunger are loving connections and processes that involve us together. Those who sought out for Jesus were looking for more than just 5 loaves and 2 fishes. They were looking for answers regarding injustice and human hatred. And they also wanted to know where was God in all of that. For this reason, Jesus mobilized his 12 disciples, calling upon them to serve as nourishment of love, nourishment capable of satisfying the deep yearnings born of the uncertainty of living in an unjust world. At first, the disciples showed little solidarity or empathy by wanting to send the crowd away. That is why Jesus teaches them that they must learn to give themselves and to trust in God in doing so. Christ needs us to understand that the only one way to feed the world is by making ourselves become nourishment like Him. At Friday, I came back. I was so tired. But I wanted to say hi to my best friend now. So I came, and the first person that I found right in the garden was Danny Jr., who hugged me and told me, "It's so good to see you back. Estoy feliz de verte." Y yo sentí una cosa impresionante. Then I came in, and I began to greet everyone, and I was so happy, until that man, with his beautiful blue eyes, tells me, "Padre Miguel, do you know that you are going to be preaching on Sunday in English also?" And I say, no, Padre, not possible. Are you serious? At the most that I look at him, he was so serious. And I don't want to say what I thought in my mind, but I said, I'm screwed. Then, of course, there was Mary Jane, which we all know and we love. And Mary Jane said, a suggestion. If you don't have a sermon, Padre Miguel, just do what Father X does. Say, God bless you, and God sit to your place. No problem. Then Father Greg made an offer, a kind offer actually. He said, I can send you one of my sermons if you would like. Someone else, but I don't remember who, say, why you don't use artificial intelligence? An idea that I instantly rejected, but Andres Pesars brought the worst one and the most difficult. Because she said, why you don't preach about your experience on your trip? And I say, well, if you want me fire, I can do that. Yet, before rushing home to start working on a sermon, now in English and Spanish, I remember something from my trip that was truly worth sharing with you. In Paris, I went to the Champ of Mars, right under the Eiffel Tower, intending to enjoy some wine along with cured meats, cheese, olives, etc., sold by vendors passing through the area. I bought the biggest package able. It even included wine glasses, imagine that. While I was having a wonderful time, a Pakistani man approached us, my friend and I, who were sitting there. His feet were bleeding, is the first thing I realized. And he was clearly hungry. He approached my friend and I with a great tactfully, lowering himself to our level in the floor and respectfully asked if he might have a bit to eat. My companion and I told him, of course, go ahead, take it all. We already ate a lot. Interestingly, upon him seeing our welcoming attitude, the men decided to eat with us. We ended up talking for about 2 hours with him. He shared that he had come to Europe, to Paris in special, to look for his brother, who they don't know anything since 2 years ago. And he was trying to find a way to make a living, but he wasn't picking up French, although his English was very well. By giving him time and space, we also discovered that his feet were bleeding, not for the lack of shoes, but because he was in the habit of walking barefoot. However, the hard, hot asphalt of Paris didn't help him so much. If we have only shared physical food with him, we will never have discovered that remarkable human being right in front of us. Someone who had set solely to find his older brother and see if he was still alive, because his mother back at home missed him and suffered for him. When he left, I felt terrible when I realized I didn't have any cash to give it to him, because I was paying only with card. So I told to him, Imran, I know you are a Muslim, and I don't have cash with me, otherwise I will give it to you. But will you accept a prayer? And he agreed. Obviously, I say I don't want to insult you. So we prayed together, and when we say amen together, we just hug each other. And I don't know how long it was, but I'm pretty sure it was for longer than 5 minutes. While my friend was watching, not really understanding what was happening, but I was certain that in Imran, in that young Pakistani, Christ had drawn near. For it is Christ who goes in search for those who are lost and in need. And that is precisely what Imran was doing when he left his country to search for his older brother, all the way to a different country with different models. As he walked away, my heart whispered, "See you later, Jesus Christ." This is not merely a matter of providing physical food, of sharing 2 loaves and 5 fishes. It is about offering spiritual nourishment, and in doing so, sharing it while sitting on the ground in the same level, meeting on equal footing just like Jesus did. Of course, without the temptation of feeling superior, but recognizing that in everything we give to others is as we multiply the will of God and never our own will. I would love to have that moment captured in a photograph, but that would only have served to upload it to Facebook, Instagram, or something similar, to boast that I was acting good, and to pretend I deserve recognition. But with His mercy and grace of the one up there, God spared away any act of pride and allow us to carry the gift of receiving His Son, Jesus Christ, through Abraham, keeping the moment only in the memory of our hearts. Something that, with all humbleness, I promise to you, I didn't want it to share today. But my time and capacity didn't allow me to do another sermon. So I needed to get these stories that I learned while I was traveling. While in Holland, I visited the house museum of the great philosopher Baruch Spinoza, the favorite thinker of my mother, including Friedrich Nietzsche. You know my mother is an atheist, of course. Many say, like my mother and others, I like the God of Baruch Spinoza. The great Albert Einstein declared, I believe in the God of Spinoza. For this great Dutch philosopher, God is not a person who takes care of us in any sense, but rather God and nature are exactly the same, pantheism. And while even though God created everything, completely everything we see, we Christians could not agree with a concept based on a God without will or purpose, based on an impersonal God with no plans for us, a God who only exists within the bounds of natural logic, but who does not love, seek, or even have compassion for others. That is why Spinoza said that no one should be praying to God, because for him and his ideas of God, that was simple, not make sense. I really feel sorry for anyone who thinks that way, because our God is a Father that is always present, one who acts against the injustice against other human beings. Our God is one willing to step out of His boat as often as necessary to heal us, to save us, to feed us. After being mistreated by Sarah, Hagar was left abandoned with her son Ishmael. In that moment of anguish and near death, she became the first person in the whole Bible to call God. She became the very first person in the Bible that called God El Roi, meaning God who sees me. Because he saw her alone, forgotten, and in despair. And when he saw her, he came to meet her and rescue both her and Ishmael from death. Our God, therefore, the one we believe in, is not merely matter or energy, but a Father who cares for all of us in all the way around. God becomes food for us, showing us the gift of self-giving. This is precisely what Jesus wishes to teach us. For if we embrace His plans, the loaves and fishes truly multiply as we become disciples and work in His love. Who of you is already giving yourselves as food for others? Or are you still too busy counting the calories of what you eat? Or too busy, like the government, distributing money that isn't theirs, just forget your vote? Or perhaps we give it to charity simply because we are the ones who benefit the most by receiving acknowledgement and honor. I pray to God that we may be ready and willing to offer ourselves as gifts of nourish, and to do so for the right reasons. This means giving ourselves not for our own glory, but so that others may increasingly recognize God's working through you. This clearly means letting God and only God to shine, for His light is truly and eternal, in comparison to our little lights that are very, very small, even though you don't want to see it. I hope that Like the disciples, however slow they were to understand, we too may give out ourselves for others, so that many more can come here to receive the Holy Eucharist, where His banquet is so abundant that entire baskets of love are left over. It is when we are out in communion that people's faces light up, leaving them free and ready to share with others as well. And we see the miracle of loaves and fishes multiply in front of us. 2 days ago, it was the celebration of my favorite saint, as you know, San Ignatius of Loyola, the 31st of July. And he has a powerful and beautiful prayer that is very, very short, that I'd like you to close your eyes and that you can repeat it in your soul because it matches with what you hear today. So please pray with me. Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and my entire will. All that I have and possess you have given to me. To you, O Lord, I return it. All is yours. Dispose of it wholly according to your will, and give me only your love and your grace, for this is enough for me. Amen.